everybody. Welcome to another live. Got an person I'm really excited for you all to meet. But before I let her introduce herself, I'm going to let you guys all know as you all filter in what's coming up. So the next show after today is on June the 8th. I wrote this down because I don't remember ever. So on June 8th, and we actually have a different Jennifer coming on. So Jennifer Jakovsky, and she's going to talk about her new deck that she just came out with. So she's actually a psychotherapist. So it's actually an oracle deck that kind of is using her psychotherapy along with her intuitive knowledge. So it's a really interesting deck. I can't wait for you guys to see it. The next one after that is June 22nd. We're continuing the Learn the Tarot series. We're going to do the High Priestess. So if you guys want to come and hang out while I color that tarot card, I would love to have you. And then after that, we have July 13th. And I have another amazing friend coming on. Her name's Summer. And we're going to talk about spiritual artwork. So like doing spiritual art. So again, lots of stuff coming up. Like, subscribe. You don't want to miss any of it. And with that, Jennifer, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yay. So it's a little bit funny. Like we kind of connected actually through another friend. So I went to one of her sound baths and you ended up being there. And I think it kind of just like snowballed from there, honestly.
That's right. Yeah, I was the one who didn't like the certain sound. And I think that's what movie is. And it's like, we all have our things, right?
Yes, so, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself, what you do? And then
thank you. So I have done a million things, and they all kind of have the same theme, and that theme is always empowering others and always really helping people tap into their own strength. And so right now, what I do is the main thing that I do is hypnosis. So I really help people primarily with trauma and anxiety. So people who've had an experience that they didn't know how to process, or something that keeps getting carried forward and affects how they show up. And hypnosis really deals with the unconscious part of the mind. No one wakes up and says, you know what, today's a good day to be anxious. I'm going to be anxious today, right? So some of these things that happen unconscious or in the background. And so hypnosis really helps with that. So that's the main thing that I do. And then the other passion of mine that I really enjoy doing is sound healing and energy work. And so the sound healing.
She's amazing, guys.
Sorry, pardon?
I said, she's amazing, guys.
Oh. And then I asked you to repeat it. That was unintentional. Yeah. So the sound for me is a little bit different than a lot of people, kind of their approach. A lot of people have an approach of like, let's just relax and hang out and listen to pretty sounds. It's not really my, style at all. Yeah. And I think because with hypnosis, it's really dealing with the unconscious mind. It's really facing what comes up. It's really meeting your emotions. And I carry that into the sound. So I come at sound, I think, with a different perspective or lens than a lot of other people do, which is why I call them sound journeys versus sound baths, right? Because we're going places versus just bathing in pretty sounds, which there's a time and place for all of it. I have a friend who does it, and she does it for palliative care.
Oh, yes. Okay, yeah.
They're not going to want to go it. Like they need some like soothing and some very nice, pretty sounds, right? And so it's kind of perfect for that. But that is not the groups that I work with. So
that's all right.
Yeah, so I do that. And then energy healing, I do group events, training, workshops. I've also been a doula for 22 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that was kind of group fitness and doula work was kind of what led me into really connecting with people and really helping people empower people in a time where they maybe felt really weak or vulnerable.
Right.
So that in a nutshell is what I do.
I love that.
Thanks.
I love that so much. Well, and I think I've actually, even when I've gone to some of your sound baths, I've said like, I came because I know I need what you do. Like I need that little more like push or that nudge or that.
Yeah.
uncomfortableness, you know?
Yeah, because I just did a little reel the other day about this, and it's like, when you're having an argument with someone or you just like aren't seeing eye to eye,
Mhm.
and you like hang out with them and you're like, so how are things?
Yeah.
You're like trying to act all casual, but you're like, oh, seething or whatnot, or just like
Mhm.
that discomfort is there. That goes on within our own body. When there's stuff that's coming up and we're like, oh, I don't like that. I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
It's still always going and running underneath the surface, whether or not you're allowing yourself to face it or see it, right?
Right.
And so sometimes you need those spaces where you can just like take the time to meet that discomfort
Right.
so that it can stop running in the background,
Mhm.
So yeah, which is why you get into the state where you're like, yeah, I need something deeper now. I need that,
Yeah.
right?
I'm
And
done tiptoeing around it all, yeah. Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And having someone who knows how to deal and respond with big emotions is also very important.
Yes. That's been huge. It's actually come up a couple of times, and, like, I've had to talk about it with, like, a couple of different friends where it's, like, having that safe space where, like, it can be, like, your space and your energy and all that can be held, that
Yeah,
person actually has the ability to do that
yeah.
is so big.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. And having the trust in the person that,
Yeah.
you're not too much, your emotions aren't too much, your
Mhm.
responses aren't too much. They can just sit there with you,
Yes.
right? And in turn, the other
Mhm.
part is
Yeah.
not take it on,
Right. Yep. Mhm.
right? Because then a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want them to feel bad if I feel bad. And then, but someone who can
Mhm.
stay grounded
Right.
and stay rooted while the other person is in their storm and they're kind of like almost like the kite, like I got you.
Yep.
They're doing their thing. You're like, I'm just
Yeah.
here grounded.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we had a couple of people come in, so we're going to say hello. We
Hello.
have Shining Love Light Truth says hello, everybody.
Beautiful.
Leia's come in, and actually she had a couple of questions, so I don't know if we want to answer them right away. I'll pop them up on the screen just so you can kind of maybe have a think.
Sure.
But if you have an answer right away, perfect. But if not, so she says, hello, how appropriate. I was just told hypnosis can help with pain management.
Yeah, for sure. So that's a great question. And I'm going to answer it with
Yeah.
something different first.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like massage therapists. Back in the day, it was a massage therapist and that was it. And now they have like craniosacral massage and they have
Mhm.
fascial massage and they have lymphatic drainage massage. And so it's kind of like that with hypnosis. There's different modalities, and
Mhm.
not every hypnotist works within those modalities.
Oh,
So I'll
okay.
say that. Okay. So for me, I don't love working with addictions. Like I don't love stop smoking. I don't
Mhm.
love weight release or weight loss. That's not what I love to work with, because to me, there's things underlying there and people aren't always ready to work with what's
Yeah.
underlying. They just want to deal with that surface thing.
Well, and just on that point, that was one of her other questions. So
Oh,
you're kind of
perfect.
answering too.
Amazing. It's like I know what people,
You're
most
intuitive or
people,
something, right?
right? And most people know about their connection to hypnosis is either cliches in movies or weight release and smoking. Those are kind of the major things.
Yeah.
So, um, weight release, I'll go into that since I already mentioned it.
Mhm.
There are, again, it depends with the person, it depends on the readiness. I will say that hypnosis is really more impactful when a person is at what's called threshold.
Mm.
Okay. And so threshold is where you go when, if you kind of want to quit something, like a little bit, but it's not really of importance to you. It's not affecting your life. If you had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, how much it was bothering you, you'd maybe say a 2.
Mhm.
They are not at threshold. Someone who has been dealing with something for so long and they're sick and tired of being sick and tired
Yep.
about it. And they're
Yeah.
like, I just want to do any bleeping. Do we swear on here?
Yeah. Go for it.
Okay. Any fucking thing that I can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like it doesn't matter what it is. And usually when people reach out to me for hypnosis, they're kind of at that point, not always. But when they're just so sick of the story, of the dance, of constantly feeling the way they're feeling, that is when they're at threshold. If it's like an 8 or 9 or 10 out of 10 for intensity,
Yeah.
that's when they're really ready to shift. So when you're wanting to do weight release or weight loss, that needs to be at higher threshold in my experience to be effective.
Right.
Because if it's not really a big deal, it's not going to be.
You're not going to commit.
Yeah, right. And the unconscious, because what really drives our decisions is emotion.
Right.
Right. That is what drives everything. You know, as much
100%,
as we try
100%.
right? As much as we try to be logical and say we're logical humans, it's the emotion that really drives, right? Look at someone who's triggered and they know it's over something stupid or small or irrelevant. They're still, you can't bullshit yourself. Exactly. It still isn't, it's not going to be enough. So weight loss can be effective when you're really ready to do it, right? And you just need to undo some of that programming or conditioning or need the support, then it's really helpful. Pain management, absolutely. There are so many people that have had chronic illnesses, even IBS, which isn't necessarily pain, but it is a chronic response to things. It's almost like a dial. You can turn it down. Some pain is like an old alarm going off that you just forgot to press stop. And some pain is feedback, like, don't do that. You're going to really injure yourself more. But chronic pain running in the background can be definitely lessened with hypnosis for sure. And total side point, I don't know why it came up, but because it came up, I'm going to say it, is a lot of people with Parkinson's find that in hypnosis, their tremors lessen, their effects lessen. So it really helps with a lot of things running in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
So we had a couple more questions. So this one was asking about whether grounded hypnosis can assist with descending grace, and I didn't know necessarily what they were meant by that. So shining love, light, truth. If you want to clarify, or if you understand what they were maybe asking, I didn't understand it.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So if you can clarify, that would be great. Since the energy is already flowing in alignment, balance, and clears chakras, like, do you do some of that stuff too? I know you do it as part of like more your energy healing piece, but does that come into practice with the hypnosis as well?
So again, hypnosis isn't necessarily energy work. I often bring energy awareness or work into hypnosis. I've been working with people and supporting people long enough that I can tell micro movements, what it's meaning in their unconscious mind and how it's affecting their energy. And so it's really easy for me to kind of tap in that way.
It just clarified.
Okay. So that isn't... There's a lot of words we use to describe, different words that we use to describe the same thing. So flow within your energy, yes. I can even tell by the tone of voice where you're blocked or what you're holding or what's not in alignment, that the tone and the inflammation should be. The tone and the cadence, the intonation, all of that really gives me a lot of information on how grounded within the person, how aligned they are, chakra system. So I wouldn't necessarily use the wording or verbiage that
they use.
Asking about, but absolutely, it's all about bringing yourself in alignment home to you, home to the deeper, higher self as well.
Well, and I guess maybe the question is coming from the point of like when you, are in that kind of hypnotic state, does that, as you said, release some of those blocks that we maybe mentally put that would maybe stop that flow from naturally happening?
Absolutely. And a lot of people will... to me, there's 4 bodies, right? There's the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And a lot of people will confuse spiritual stuff or the misalignment that shows up in the
Right.
energy. And that misalignment actually stems from emotional blocks, mental blocks. It stems from a different area that shows up in one of the four other bodies
Mm-hmm.
as well. Does that make sense? So,
Yeah, it
so
does. Yeah.
that's why when I work with people online, and
Mm-hmm.
I also work with people in person. And when I
Right.
work with people in person, I can bring my sound instruments into it.
Right.
I can do energy work with it. I can do hypnosis. So it's really like this like braided form of modalities coming together in
Mm-hmm.
this one kind of moment. So it can be really, really powerful in that way.
I absolutely love that. We had Moira come in too while we were talking there. Hi, Moira. And she
Hello.
actually mentioned, I think you kind of brought it up at the beginning there, but like she was talking about like, the stereotypical, as you said, like what we see on TV or movies kind
Yeah.
of. Would you use like a watch or a pendulum to like get somebody into that state? Or like, are you willing to, I guess, spill some of your secrets?
Yeah. So it's funny this comes up and it's funny we're on YouTube. So
Yeah.
I had a YouTube channel that I put a lot of energy in like
Hmm.
2016 to like 2020 actually. And so I would do street hypnosis. Street
Okay.
hypnosis is similar to stage hypnosis in
Right.
the sense that you're doing funny things, right? Like I would make someone forget their name or the number
Yeah.
four, and so they'd go to count and they'd be like 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and I was like, oh my god, you have 6 fingers on your hand. They're like, what? No, and they would know they didn't, but they would
Yeah.
count them again and be like six. What?
Yeah.
And so, like sticking someone's hand to the table and then walking away and offering them $100 to come and get, like, just come and get this $100.
Right.
It's yours. But they're like, oh, my hand's stuck to the table. I can't.
Yeah.
So, um, stage and street hypnosis can be really fun and for laughs for sure.
Right.
But I always used it as a teaching moment because
Mm,
if I can help you forget your name is
right.
one of the first words that you learn that you respond to. And if
Mhm.
I can help you forget your name, what other pattern behavior or response do you need help forgetting?
Oh, yeah. I see what you
Right?
mean. Yeah.
So if I can stick your hand to the table where you're getting offered money and you're still not moving,
Yeah.
what other thing in your life do you want to stick to? Do you want to
Yeah.
be, so committed to that it sticks, right?
Mhm.
So I would use these things for teaching moments to show people the power of their
Mhm.
unconscious mind and what it was really capable of, right?
Mhm.
And sometimes those are funny, and sometimes in turn
Yeah.
people will be like, oh, I got called up on stage in high school and they sent me back to my seat. They said I wasn't a good candidate. And then they think
Mhm.
they're not hypnotizable, which is BS.
Ah, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Because they're like, I couldn't do it. I got sent back to my street. Like, I can't do it. I can't be hypnotized. Everyone is hypnotizable. We're all in a hypnotic trance of some sort. Some of us
Yes.
are in really crappy trances where we think our life is crap.
Yeah.
And other of us are learning how to become a better hypnotist of ourselves, which is one of the things that I really like to encourage people to
Ooh,
do. So, what that really meant is when they got sent back to their seat, is that their unconscious mind is not willing to surrender to let them look
right.
like a fool instead of in front of like a
Yeah.
hundred or
They're like, this
1,000.
isn't legit. Like, yeah.
Well, it's more a safety thing because
Yeah.
they're like, I don't know what this hypnotist is going to make us do, and so it won't allow those suggestions in because it's not
Mhm.
safe,
So I
right?
guess when you're doing your sessions, then do you like the first couple sessions, is it a lot of it just building that trust?
Well, anytime someone reaches out to me and wants
Yeah.
to do hypnosis, I always have a phone call with them. And
Mm,
this phone call will last usually like 45 minutes to an hour.
yeah.
And this is just their opportunity to ask me any questions. They don't have to pay for this phone call. It's
Right.
not like they don't have to do anything after. It's really about learning about them, about
Right.
what hypnosis is. And I find that really builds trust. I find when people realize that I'm not BSing them, and
Mhm.
that I find the trust just automatically starts unfolding.
Mhm.
So sometimes that first session, they arrive and I'm like, how are you feeling? And they're like, I'm really nervous.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
Right? I'm like, of
yeah.
course you are. Of
Yeah.
course you are. You're doing something that
Be
you,
silly not to.
right?
Yeah.
So, excuse me. So, the trust is always being built. And I think, if I can be so bold as to
Mhm.
say, you've come and you've worked with me and you've been in my sound journeys, you've
Yes.
had these experiences where you're like, I would not let go normally,
Right.
right? But you felt that trust. And I think that's
100%.
something that, when you're really, really truthful in what you're saying to people, people are like, okay, I feel it, right? That energy emanates.
Well, as I think Leia said, like, you can't BS yourself, so I know you get that feeling of, like, somebody's BSing me or not. Yeah.
Right, exactly, exactly. And then in turn, when I notice little subtle things that people are like, how'd you know that? Or like, we're
Yes.
bang on, right? Then people are
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm tuning into this a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had a couple more questions here. There's actually 2 that are kind of along the same lines, so maybe we can just kind of,
Mhm.
um but just saying, like, does spacing out and daydreaming help one with surrender? I guess in a sense, we could call that a state of hypnosis if you're daydreaming, but they were also saying about, like, imagination. So, I guess, is that a part of what you do too, is working with that imagination?
Yeah. So I'm taking notes so I remember to
Yeah.
get both points. So daydreaming is a type of trance. So a great point. When someone says I'm not hypnotizable, I always ask them, have you ever driven home and went like, oh my God, I'm in my driveway. How did I get here? Like, I don't
Yeah.
remember the drive home.
Uh-huh.
Right. And then that is a state of trance. So in that state of trance, your unconscious mind is doing what it's doing. And the conscious mind is like taking a little break. I
Right.
often describe the conscious mind as like a bouncer at a bar,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
And your conscious mind is the bar. The bouncer, like, are you safe? Are you good? I don't know. Yeah, you can come in, right? And
Right.
then every once in a while, the conscious mind will check back in. Hey, is that person still good? Okay. And they'll take a break back. Same
Mhm.
when you're driving. The conscious mind is like, oh, yep, we're driving. And then it takes that step back, right?
Mhm.
So when you're daydreaming, that's a state of trance. That is a great time where you could use guided meditation or hypnosis. Hypnosis
Mhm.
goes a little bit deeper than guided
Right.
meditation, and not to be offensive, but most people who are doing hypnosis, most have the
Mhm.
training to use more words that are going to access your unconscious mind with more efficacy
Yeah.
and allow you to do deeper work versus just imagining something, which is the next
Right.
point, right?
Right.
Your conscious mind is logical, analytical, tries to make sense out
Yeah.
of things. Your unconscious mind speaks through metaphor, imagination, creativity. It connects things that logically don't make sense to
Right.
connect, but they connect those things. And so when you use imagination, it allows you to speak the unconscious mind's language.
Right.
Okay. So when you use imagination or metaphor, it's like that big balloon is all of the anxiety and the energy of frustration is being blown into that balloon, and you tie that balloon and then you let it go. Right. The unconscious mind
Mhm.
is like, ooh, yeah, that's delicious. Like,
Yeah.
more of that, right? It loves the metaphors, it loves the imagination, it loves visualizing or
Mhm.
sensations in the body.
Right.
That's really how it can be very effective as well.
And then I think, I mean, this is kind of same kind of stream of thought, but can hypnosis be used to support positive affirmation?
So, yes, I like the way that's worded because positive affirmations are have a lot of potential.
Right.
Okay, they have a lot of potential in that they can help reprogram some of our thoughts. However, a lot of positive affirmations, it comes back to that wording that we use, are
Mhm.
really crappy, right?
Yes.
When I read positive affirmations, I'm like, oh, that's actually a terrible suggestion
Right.
that
Okay.
that
Yeah.
propose, right? Like, um, I will not be anxious. I will not be anxious,
Mhm.
right? That can be viewed in some ways as a positive affirmation, or I'll go through my day without feeling anxiety.
Mhm.
So your brain has to process that so it doesn't understand negative commands. So it has to
Right.
process the command. It says, I will go through my day without feeling anxious. And so it says, I will go through my day. Oh, what does anxiety feels like? Brings it up.
Right.
And then it's already lit up in your brain. And then
Yeah.
it has to try and go backwards to not feel anxious. Right.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
when you're using words that aren't really helpful,
Mhm.
not a great result.
Right.
However, when you're in that hypnotic state or trance, well worded positive affirmations can be helpful for sure.
Right.
When I'm doing hypnosis and I know that someone wants to feel great every day when they wake up because they've had anxiety in the past, I will say you'll open your eyes and you feel amazing. You feel that energy flowing in that
Mhm.
is restorative and re energizing, right?
Mhm.
So, that those positive affirmations can be sprinkled into hypnosis, but positive affirmations are not hypnosis.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of like what she said, where it's like it can support things, or like
Exactly.
open, I guess, open up to the ability to use those things. But you have to be, I think, what you're kind of saying, and I mean, I learned it as part of when I was learning Reiki about, like, putting thoughts into people's heads, that you have to do it with a very pure mindset, a pure heart, and like really be very sure about as you said, the wording of things,
Mhm.
how we put things out there. Because I have actually another friend that always says that, like, words are spells. So like what we
Yeah.
say, like, there's an intention behind it, good or bad. There's an intention. So
Yeah.
that oh, and Moira here too was saying, and it's kind of what you were saying here too, that the
Yeah.
subconscious doesn't recognize the negative not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It has to process it in order to unprocess it. And by the
Hmm.
time it's already processed it, you're stuck there. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't go
Yeah.
back, right? Um, yeah, it's the wording is very powerful. Like another word that people use a lot, which is really bogus, is try, right? So
I had that conversation actually just yesterday with
right?
somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, there's two types of try. Like you can try a new food.
Mhm.
That's an
Mhm.
okay one. But then if you're like, "Oh, I'm moving on Saturday, can you help me?" And you're like, "I'll try to, but I have,
Yeah.
it's not going to happen." And so
Mhm.
try gives yourself permission to when you try to do something, it gives yourself permission to fail.
Yeah. It
Mhm.
gives an out.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So if anybody goes actually and checks out your Instagram and stuff, you actually just did a retreat on the weekend that looked really interesting. I don't know if you want to speak about that at all, or if you're still
Yeah.
processing.
No, it was amazing. So I grew up riding horses when we could afford it.
Yeah.
And having the experience of riding horses, like I've always loved
Mhm.
horses. They've been my favorite animal forever. Um, in my school, I wore oval in the field because I was like in lessons and I was just running
Yeah.
around in the field all the time with my friends. Um, and so we did this retreat and it was on my friend's farm and she has two horses.
Yeah.
And now these horses are very differently interacted with than school ponies
Right.
or like lesson horses, where it's just like they're push button and they're like
Yep.
sold to daddy. um, these horses are so intuitive and they ask to help heal and support. And so I've witnessed them working on someone, and when the energy is maybe there's an injury or the energy needs clearing in a certain spot, they'll like nose that area or they'll like mouth
Mhm.
it and kind of like massage it a little bit, or they'll just kind of boop it. And then my friend Isabel will kind of work with the energy.
Mhm.
And we had someone that was really in need of support and a lot of grief and a lot of physical trauma in her body. And she was happy to receive. And so we put a massage table in the field.
Yes,
And
yeah.
Isabel was working with her and it was amazing. But then it was lunchtime and everyone was getting hungry. So Isabel's like,
Mhm.
I'm going to take care of stuff. You come in. And so I got to work with the horses.
How was
And
that?
yeah, it was amazing. And then work with the person as well. And it was so neat because even before I was in the paddock, Isabel was working with the horses and this beautiful soul.
Mhm.
And noticing all the physical and the energetic.
Right.
And then I was on the other side of the paddock holding space and feeling all of the emotion components. So like the sadness and the grief was coming up, and I was just supporting her by crying for and with her.
Right.
And so when I got to come in, I got to combine that emotional support, physical support, and healing. And it was like a dream come true, right?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
this like ability to connect with horses in a very different way, but their
Mhm.
hearts are so big. They're big animals, right? So
Right.
their hearts and the heart coherence and their ability to affect you is so powerful.
Mhm.
It's just amazing. It was really, really powerful.
I find them incredibly grounding too.
Yeah.
Like I haven't been able to get out to a barn very often, but like much like you, I grew up riding horses up until about second year university actually, and then just like there just wasn't the time for it. But
Yeah.
anytime I get around them, I'll come home and I'm like, I feel the most grounded I have ever felt, and I've literally just been around it in their energy. So
Yeah.
yeah, I saw that like you guys doing the Reiki, and I'm like, oh, that's a wish list thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it was incredible. It was so beautiful to work with them and see how um even after the person got up from the
Mm,
table, the one horse came over and was like clearing the energy from the table
cool.
and then trying to like lift his front leg up like he wanted energy
My
healing
turn.
now. And I'm like, oh buddy, you can't be on the table. You're a little big. But it was so sweet to like just to have that
Mhm.
reciprocity with them. They're
Yeah.
like, hey, we did the work. Now you do some of this. It
Yeah.
was really cute. And then to do sound journeys outside with the
Yeah, I was gonna
birds.
ask about that. Like, how is that different maybe to like doing them in your basement, for example?
Yeah, so when we do them in the grounding room, aka the basement,
Yeah.
or any event space,
Yeah.
there's walls that just kind of hold the energy. They
Right.
hold the sound. They allow it to be contained. And then when you're outside, at first it can be like, whoa, it's just like it can almost feel like it's just oozing away.
Right. Yeah, I can't hold it per se. Yeah.
Right? Because
Yeah.
outside is huge. But then it was really neat to work with it inside or outside because, for example, it was a windy, windy day. You can see I
Yeah.
still have like wind
Yeah.
burn on my face from it, right? Um, and when I would go to play my flute, because the wind was coming this way and I would go to play my flute, it
Right.
would knock the wind out of my flute, right? So it wouldn't
Oh
play. And so I turned on my little meditation cushion and say, just energetically, like, I can't play this if it's going to be this windy.
no.
And then the wind would calm down.
Oh, I love
And I would
it.
play it and play it. And then I would put the flute down and then the wind would
We
pick
would
that
pick
up.
back up. At
It
least
was
they were
so
playing.
cool. Yeah. And it was like Isabel after she's like, the land was so thirsty for that. It was just like,
Mhm.
yes, more, more, more. So even the trees around
Mhm.
I don't, this is a little off topic, but
Mm.
um, when you're in nature, the trees really, some of them feel really used, right?
Mhm.
Some of them feel really like you just take and take and take. And so, one of the ways that we can give back is through sound, whether it's singing or playing an instrument.
Mhm.
And so, the trees in the area, instead of like that initial, like, oh, it's just the sounds disappearing and like oozing,
Mhm.
it was like they kind of played with it. So the wind and the birds came and there was birds circling while
Oh,
I was
cool.
playing and they would chirp in and the wind would come help move some of the energy. And
Mhm.
um, it was really special to be outside, especially in a farm kind of
Right, yeah,
setting.
and as you said, like, the land was just I think it was, like, as you said, it was the perfect container, and
Yeah. Yeah, it
yeah.
was really beautiful. So it was good. And then it just kind of felt like almost like water as it's evaporating, like the sound just kind of like gently evaporated away,
Mm,
like what no longer was needed just kind of
right,
floated away instead of just there was a shift from the
right,
ooze to the like,
oh,
yeah, it was really
love
cool.
that. Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad the weather cooperated for the most part for you guys too, I think.
Yeah, me too. It was good because it wasn't super hot
Yeah,
So it's easier to, from my perspective, to always put a layer on than take a layer
Mhm.
off. There's
Yeah.
so many layers you can take off. Um, and yeah, the wind kind of helped keep the bugs away as well. So it
Mhm.
was kind of a blessing in disguise.
Ooh, that's true too. Yeah, I didn't even think of that, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
Moira was
beautiful.
just saying that that sounds amazing.
Yeah, yeah, it was so beautiful. And even when we were doing the sound journey, the paddock like was like this far behind
Mhm.
me. So the
Mhm.
one horse just kept coming over and being like and just like holding space with us too. So
Adding to the soundscape, right?
right? It was so beautiful. And then in turn, when they're doing their healing, sometimes they'll turn directly away from the person.
Right.
And that is like them watching and standing
Mhm.
guard.
Mhm.
Right? So it's really cool. At one point, they both turned and stood at the edge of their paddock to like help hold the space, like right at the beginning of the sound journey.
Wow.
So it was, yeah, it was very, very exciting.
Oh,
Yeah.
so actually, so I'll ask you a question, and then Moira has a question here that I've starred.
Yeah.
So in regards to like the sound healing stuff, like, do you have like I have, for example, like I have certain instruments that I like really really love to play, for example. So do you have like certain instruments that you like really feel, I guess, attached to or speak to you a lot more often than others?
Um, that's a tricky question
Yeah.
because I feel like in the beginning I had some instruments that I was like, oh, I want to play this. And there was a
Yeah.
me thing.
Ah, okay.
Um, right? So it was my energy being excited. But when I do a sound journey, I really tap into the energy of what's needed. And then the instruments come to me and they're like, okay, now the ocean drum or now this, or
Yes.
singing in a forlorn way, really, or
Yeah.
like so it just kind of comes out. I love the response. So I'll slightly tweak the answer. I
Yeah.
love the
Yeah.
response of people when they hear the gong with the flumies,
Yes. Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
those can be so like haunting and eerie,
Mhm.
or like a lot of
Yeah.
people are like, it sounds like a thriller like soundtrack.
Yep.
So um, I also really love when something's really needed
Mhm.
and you can just feel that instrument land
Okay.
exactly where it
Yes.
needed to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I remember at the last sound bath, I think you said like there was one instrument that you wanted to play and it would just not,
Mhm.
which I thought was super interesting. I don't remember which instrument it was, but you were like, I was trying and it was just not playing.
Yeah, it was actually the flumi, the gong with the
Oh, was it? Oh,
flumi,
yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, that's
right?
right.
So sometimes I'm like, "Yeah, I think I should do this now." And sometimes it's my thinky brain going like, "Oh, play the gong with the flumi because it's fun to see people react, right?"
Yes.
And then at that particular sound journey, there was someone who was dealing with really fresh grief.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so the flumi was like, "This is not what they need."
This is
And
not the
and
time, lady.
yeah, there will be times where I'm like, "Oh, I should play this." Ha, ha, ha. And then the instrument's like, "Nope, nope." They just refuse. Or if the energy is off, there was one place that I used to rent space out of,
Okay.
and the instruments did not like the space.
Mm,
It was hard to get
interesting.
them to play
Yeah.
consistently in that space. Yeah.
So listen to what you're saying is listen to your instrument.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. We can be excited about stuff, but then
Yes.
it's really like tuning in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Moira's question was about hypnosis again, but that she was just saying like, does doing, because you talked about doing in person versus remote, like, are
Yeah.
there really some really big differences, or is it more or less the same?
So it depends on the person.
Okay,
Um, some people aren't accustomed to tuning into energy remotely,
right.
right? So, or picking up the cues like through a screen like this, for
Yes.
example, right? So, when you're in, there's lots of different modalities in hypnosis. Like, if you want to get fit, you can do CrossFit, you can cycle, you can do Zumba, you can
Yeah.
weightlift, right? All these different modalities.
Yeah.
It's similar with hypnosis, a lot of different modalities, kind of like that massage metaphor that I
Right.
used earlier.
Mhm.
And so, um, the main one that eventually happens in most modalities is having the eyes closed.
Right.
And so once you close your eyes, if you're on Zoom, and I encourage my people to use like either over the head
Okay,
headphones,
yeah, like noise blocking ones or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, or earbuds,
Mhm.
because then it allows like you to bypass any distracting sounds.
Mhm.
And it allows you just to like, because at that point, all that really matters is the sound of my voice.
Right.
Right. So at that point, it doesn't matter whether we're in the room together or whether we
Mm,
are
okay, yeah.
online. Right. Some people really need to really rebuild trust in person, in connection, in
Right.
relationship. And so sometimes those people need to be in person. And sometimes people really benefit from the sound and the vibration.
Right.
So if I'm doing it in person, I'll often play the bowls while I'm doing hypnosis, which activates more parts of the brain to kind of bring
Mhm.
you deeper into trance. But is that necessary? No. It's
Right.
like, is it necessary to have whipped cream and a cherry with ice cream? No.
Makes it better though.
But it is nice. Yeah, for sure, right? So like I always say to people, like if you look at my reviews, more than half of those were done online. So
Okay.
it is just as effective remotely or in person. However, there are some benefits to in person. And I'm going to give you a big benefit that not a lot of people realize about remotely. Okay. When I used to have an office and only work in an office, people would come in and at the end of the session, and I see this with in-person people a lot too, is like, I'd be like, okay, so yeah, that's great. Have, take care of yourself. And they'd sit there going,
Have to grow people again.
well, and yeah. And so what they're like, well, what happens when I leave here? I'm like,
Right.
well, I didn't hypnotize the room, I hypnotized you.
Yeah.
Right. And so it goes with you, right?
Mhm.
But some people create what's called an anchor, similar to a trigger, but it's
Okay.
an anchor, it's a connection to a space. And
Ah,
so
okay.
when they leave that space, they're worried that the change work doesn't come with them. And so that
Mhm.
can be one of the benefits of doing it online is you're in your own environment. As long
Right.
as your environment is safe, right? Because some people are there because their partners are unhealthy partners. And
Right.
so they might need to come in person so they have a safe space.
Right.
Or some are new moms and they're like, I want to wait for my kids, right? Because they're coming in, they're like, look, mom, and they're holding up, their math or
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever. So as long as you have a safe space, you can connect that healing and form that anchor into your own space. So that is one of the really good advantages of doing it online as well.
Okay.
Mhm.
See, I wouldn't have thought of that. I would have thought like, oh, like in person all the way. But as you were just saying, like, yeah, that's interesting that. But I think that I can see how that would make sense, as you said, where the person is like, this is the container. It's a I wouldn't say like it's like Pavlov's dog, but kind of in a sense where you're like, this is what happens in this container, and then outside, if I don't have that container, how do I know what steps to do? Like,
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And so and part of the disservice of that, if we can go that way,
yeah.
is that they're attaching the healing externally,
Hmm. Yeah.
right? Instead of remembering internally. And so when you're online, then you feel it more attached to you internally versus that environment. Yeah.
So I know we're already like 45 minutes in almost, which is
Yeah.
like, I can't believe time flies.
Yeah.
But did you maybe want to just to talk a little bit like, I mean, I don't know if I'm the only one that's curious, but like, how did you end up like like
Doing this.
doing hypnosis and like, like how did these things find you? I guess like if you
So
feel comfortable talking about that.
the same way this hair found my mouth. No. So it's a weird path.
Yeah.
And I think this is an important one to remember,
Yeah.
even myself. And I'm going to put this out there. I'm going to preface this with I've seen a lot of people who are in the spiritual or healing world
Mhm.
because they want disciples,
Yep.
right?
Hmm.
Or because they want to help others heal the things that they haven't taken the time to heal.
Hmm.
Right. And so there's a lot of bypassing through trying to get other people to do it and thinking like, look, I'm doing my healing, but they're not.
Yes.
Okay, really important. And so to me, it concerns me because there's a lot of people out there whose intention, like you were talking about earlier, is purely egoic,
Hmm.
spiritual ego, physical ego, follower ego, all of this, right? Even the modalities they're offering are bypassing what's really needing to be
Right.
met. Okay. And so for me, I grew up, I started with fitness. I
Mhm.
had two children, and my second child was born 20 minutes was the labor, and she was
Wow.
born in my bathtub because I was
Ah,
trying to shower
right.
before I gave birth, and there wasn't time.
Yeah.
And so I went into birth being a doula because I wanted people to know that, like, there's a lot of horror stories. Like, as soon as you tell someone you're pregnant, they're like, "Oh, just you
Yeah.
wait till labor, just you wait." It's always like this doom,
Yes.
like
Right.
this,
Yeah.
and then people are like, "Ugh." And so I really wanted to give a counterbalance to, like, you know what, birth can be amazing and
Hmm.
powerful and empowering. Like, you can just birth, have a baby slide right out of you, and
Right.
then get up and walk to your bed after and have a nap. Like,
Yeah.
it can be a beautiful thing. And so again, that empowering, that contrary voice, right? Messaging. And then long story compressed.
Yes.
um, I ended up separating from my first husband
Mm.
and met this guy, and he'll take full credit for the amazing job that I do because
Yeah.
he taught me everything.
Yeah.
um, and he was a hypnotist,
Wow.
and
Okay.
um, he would do stuff or say stuff or like introduce me to hypnosis because he wanted disciples and
Mhm.
proteges, if you
Mhm.
will, right? So he wanted to be able to say, "I am so good."
Yeah.
um, and I was like, this is what I used to do as a doula, like these trance states, these ways of
Right.
getting
Yeah.
people.
You're already intuitively almost doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, this is so similar. And I was, before I separated from my husband, I like worked for him. So
Hmm.
I didn't have a job anymore.
Right.
And so I was like, this is something that I would be really good at. And so I started training, and it really resonated with me, not because he was trying to accomplish his mission, but because it's something I had already been doing.
Hmm.
And he turned out to be a terrible human being,
Right.
narcissistic, abusive. And I stayed because I felt like he was teaching me a lot of stuff, and he was.
Yeah.
And the relationship that I had with him is one of the things that I help other women through now,
Right.
is when they've had interactions with narcissism. And so as much as it was a really hard, challenging time in my life, and that person is just an illusion,
Right.
um, it really taught me so many things to help others with, because I went through it and I did the work, and I found my way out the other side
Yeah.
without bypassing it. And so then once we broke up, I was like, yeah, well, I'm doing this because I'm doing this, and it really feels right. And I had to
Yeah.
do some like self self reflection of like, why am I doing healing?
Right.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
what is my intention? And so through doing hypnosis and then doing energy work, and I'd actually started doing Reiki training before I met
Ah,
him,
okay.
right? So that was already on the go. And I don't necessarily do Reiki per se, but I have been trained in it.
Hmm.
But I do more kind of intuitive energy work as well.
It's a tool in a toolkit.
Yeah. And like I said, a lot of people will use the same word or different words to describe the same kind of thing,
Yeah.
right? So
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, and then so all of these, and even my background in group fitness, just they all kind of support to
Mhm.
like create this beautiful foundation of supporting and helping, and especially with women, but I do work with men as well now.
Mhm.
Um, and just really like, I also grew up with debilitating anxiety.
Mm.
Like, I was hospitalized and when I was 14 for suicide, and
Oh, okay. Yeah.
so I've lived it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like I've lived I know when someone reaches out and they're like, "I'm having panic attacks 24/7." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I remember that."
Yeah.
Like having a panic attack and then being like, "Oh, I'm not having a panic attack. Why aren't I having" and then like
Yes.
that's
Yeah. Yeah. The brain likes to make stories.
right?
Yeah.
And so, and having gone through those relationships where, my first marriage, like he was emotionally unavailable, and then thinking this other guy is like this thrilled, exciting guy who was really just a very scared little boy hiding.
Mhm.
Um, and then learning, meeting my partner now, who's an
Yeah.
amazing human being, right?
Yes. Yeah.
He is. He's a really good guy. And so yeah, just everything unfolds, right? We think we need to have this like 20-year plan,
Oh gosh.
but
No, no, not anymore.
right? No,
Yeah,
it's
no.
just it's saying yes and exploring what feels
Yes.
right. So just and then bringing things that, like I in music class and elementary school,
Mhm.
I would play the trumpet and then I'd catch up to where we were playing and I could play that. And so I'm like, I'll play the clarinet now, and then I'd play that, and then I'd play the flute then. And so all of these things that were things of interest to me allowed me to engage with them in a healing, supporting way.
Yeah.
Right? So bringing all of these experiences and interests and hobbies right into the, what I do now.
That's so perfect. So we actually had another person come in, and they
Yeah.
were so Dax here was just saying thank you for sharing with others what you've learned about wording importance.
Uh,
Um,
Another clinical hypnotist.
that's what
Hey,
that's what
buddy.
CHP stands for.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's important, right? And a lot of people think they can talk their way out of stuff. And again, affirmations do have a good
Hmm.
support, but that you need to get rid of those blocks, and you need to meet the parts of you that you've been hiding in the basement of your soul
Yep.
and start loving them too, right? So it's like I used to think hypnosis was the be all end all, and now I'm learning, about parts work and the energy and the sound and even medicine work. Like all of these different things help support, because we're more complicated than just a one thing
Yes.
fixes it all.
And then this made me laugh because this is when we were talking about the 20-year plan.
Yeah. Right? Exactly. Yeah, yeah. So it's important that you're tuning into what's present, right? Like that you're tuning into, and I've kind of like micro adjusted what grounded hypnosis
Yes.
even means, right? And if you go back in the videos of like 2017, 18, you're going to see a very different Jennifer than you
Yes.
see here, right?
Yes.
Like, and even that, and sometimes I'm like, oh, I should take all of that down. But then it shows the journey of like,
Does.
I went from like suppressed to like overly sexualized to, and then being like, oh, why am I performing? And this is like uh, abuse, trauma response, and just, yeah, really shedding the pink hair,
Yes.
shedding the like fake everything.
Actually, Dax, I'm actually kind of happy you brought this up because Jennifer actually uses these both in tandem with her sound journeys.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I have the acupuncture that I do on the solstices and the equinox. We combine sound and acupuncture. Which, have you been to one of those, Kaylee?
I haven't been to one of the acupuncture ones yet. No, not yet.
Okay. Okay. So
It's
those
on
are
the list.
those are powerful. There's one in June
Yeah.
coming up. Those are powerful, in even doing tea, different herbs, and teas, and different ways of using herbs. Yeah, I bring those into the practice as well, because plant teachers,
Yes.
allies, and plant can mean ayahuasca or mushrooms, or it can mean like dandelions,
Yes.
right? Like
Yeah.
it's best, right? So yeah, there's so many modalities, and so much medicine, if you will,
Yes.
everywhere we are,
If
right?
we just open ourselves to it, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
And it
And
was something you said, and I don't remember the exact wording, but it was something about you saying like tuning in, and it was interesting because like you used it in the term as far as like hypnosis, but I'm like it's easily just as applicable to the sound healing. So like
Like,
invoke, so like it's just tuning into, I guess, almost the frequency of our body is the way I'm gonna say it.
yeah,
But it's just like whether we're using that higher self, tuning into our higher self, or tuning into the inner child, tuning into whatever that piece is.
yeah.
And Moira was asking, like, how do you identify what's blocking you? Like, do you have any little?
I love that question. If you look at areas in your life that you are feeling frustrated with,
Mm-hmm.
or if you're like, oh my God, this again, there is feedback in there as to, okay, if you're noticing a pattern, or if you're noticing themes of things coming up, if you notice the same type of person coming into your life, but in
Yes.
different people, right? But that same
Yes.
personality or characteristic, those are showing you your blocks, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you keep coming up against these people who keep pushing on your boundaries, then your block is that you don't have a boundary,
Right.
right? Where you don't know how to lovingly enforce them, or and so you can really see the blocks by where you're feeling stuck in life, what themes you're noticing, and what things keep repeating, behaviors, people, life trends of your own
Yes.
life, right? If you will, all of those indicate where you're feeling blocked or where your blocks are.
Dax was just saying like meditation and quiet time helps too. So yeah, that inner reflection piece.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes our body is a tattletale. I'll put it that way. Yeah.
Yeah. The body will whisper before it screams, right? So you're talking about tuning into your higher self. Sometimes it's tuning into like, oh, I'm noticing there's tension or heat or discomfort in a certain area, right? And like the Dax says, is you need quiet, you need stillness, which is what the theme of our retreat was, the
Yes.
stillness retreat, so that you can just calm, because we're so enticed by busyness, and busyness almost becomes a form of numbing, that we
Mm-hmm.
don't take that time to be still or do tai chi or yoga or just sit
Yeah.
quietly. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we're almost at the end of the hour. Do you have anything you want to share that's coming up?
So, for those in Toronto area, I'll be going to Toronto and we'll be doing a voice energy release workshop, which is really about things that have been stored inside, allowing the energy to come out, but not attaching to, like you said, the narratives
Mm-hmm.
and the story of what's happening, because that's really important. So that's June 6th. And then we'll be doing an evening sound journey as well
Oh,
after that.
nice.
So it's going to be like this beautiful, like wonderful thing. For those in the Ottawa area, we have the sound acupuncture on the 22nd. It's a Monday. Tomorrow we have a sound journey as well. And those sound journeys are usually every other Tuesday,
I
unless
was gonna
it's
say
a
they're fairly regular. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, they're every other Tuesday, so that people have that consistent space and time to pause, reflect,
Mm-hmm.
and really go inward, but also connect in community, because we are not designed to heal and go through things on our own. We are designed to be with other people,
Mm-hmm.
and our nervous system needs that in order to rest and not be on guard. We need to be around other people that we feel safe with, so that we can let go and really start the true healing. Yeah.
Well, Jennifer, thank you so much for coming on today. For those of you that weren't here at the beginning, we have the next show up that's coming on the 8th of June. Have a different Jennifer that will be here, Jennifer Jakovsky, who I've had on many times before. She has a new Oracle deck, so she's gonna come on and talk about that. And then otherwise, you guys are just gonna have to either rewind and watch back at the beginning, or like and subscribe, and don't want to miss it.
Beautiful.
So
thanks for having me, Kaylee.
You're welcome.
It's amazing.
And I hope everybody has a good night, a good rest of your week, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.